Good morning, St. Peniel artists. Today we are going to learn how to draw sunflowers. Sunflowers are my very favorite flower, and I actually am wearing a sunflower dress today. And I thought, what a perfect flower to draw on a day like today. So, to get started, we're going to need a piece of paper. Hi, Oreo, you want to say hello? You're going to need a piece of paper. You are going to need a pencil, and then depending on what you want to color with, you can either use a black pen or a permanent marker to go over your drawing. I'm going to use a black pen. I want to do some watercolors today. So my paper that I'm using is actually a watercolor paper, but any paper would be absolutely fine. So to get started, we're going to start at the top part of our paper. And we're going to draw two circles, but extremely lightly. We're going to erase these circles later. So I'm going to draw one circle extremely lightly, and then I'm going to draw a bigger circle around it. And now, if you can see, my circle's kind of going off the page, and that is A-okay. This is going to show me how big to draw my sunflower. Okay, so I've got my middle where I'm going to draw my pollen, and then the outside where I'm going to draw my petals. I'm going to take my pen and I am going to just kind of draw some little bumpy lines around the circle that I just drew. And that's going to be the inside of my petal. And then to fill that in, I'm just going to draw some circles, and they're really small, but that's going to represent the little sunflower seeds. Yay, we did it! So now I'm going to start working on my flower petals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the middle. I'm going to do a little curved line, and I'm going to go to this outside line that I'm going to erase later. Now, flower petals can be all sorts of different shapes. So if yours don't look exactly like mine, that's fine. I'm going to start by going top, bottom, left, and right, and I'm going to just kind of fill them in from there. So top, bottom, right, and left. And then I'm going to fill in my diagonals now. And to make my petals, I'm just kind of doing some curved lines that meet on the end. All right, now I'm going to go in between my diagonals. I'm going to start with the places that have the biggest space first. And then if my flower petals kind of overlap, I'm just going to stop them, because sometimes flower petals do overlap. And that also creates a little bit of depth in my picture. It kind of makes it look like some flower petals are on top of other ones, and that's exactly what I want it to look like. And I'm just kind of filling them in here. And I think this is going to be my last one. One right here. All right. Okay. Now I'm just going to go in and add a few little flower petals behind some of my bigger ones. And this is just going to kind of make it a little bit more 3D-ish looking, I guess. And I'm not going to do this for everyone. I'm just going to do this on a few. And I'm just doing a little half flower petal behind some of my bigger flower petals. There's no real rhyme or reason to how I'm picking and choosing my flower petals. It's just... Alright, so now we're going to start by adding the stem. So I want my stem to be a little curvy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of draw a curved line, and it's going to go all the way to the bottom of my page. I'm going to draw another one that kind of hugs that original line. And then I'm going to draw some leaves. So for my leaves, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by showing where my leaves are going to go. And then I'm going to do a curved line on top to connect. And then I'm going to do like a little loopy line underneath. I'm going to do that on this side too. So a curved line that connects, and then a little loopy line underneath. And I want to make my leaf look a little 3D-ish, so I'm going to add a little line right underneath that hugs my loopy line, and then I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, now I'm just going to add some details. So I'm going to pick some of my main flowers. I'm just going to put a little line through them, and it just almost makes it look like these flowers are curved now. Okay, now it's time to grab our eraser. We're going to erase the pencil lines that we had drawn earlier. And remember, we drew those very lightly for this very reason. And now it is time to paint. Alright, so to start my painting today, I'm going to start with my lighter yellows, and I'm going to go to my darker yellows. So I'm going to start off with this nice light yellow, and I'm going to go ahead and just give all of my flowers this nice light yellow. Grab a little bit of orange on my brush. I'm not going to paint completely orange, but I'm going to try to blend the yellow and the orange together just a little bit. That one's a little dark for me. I might need to go back in and add some more yellow. I want to add some extra darkness to the middle of my flower. So I'm going to take a little bit more orange, and I'm just going to kind of add some orange to the middle. And I'm not adding too much, it's just a little bit. But that's kind of giving it that depth I was talking about earlier. It kind of makes it look more realistic. And I'm going to just keep on spreading that. And now I'm going to take my yellow again, and I'm just going to kind of blend that. Oops, my water was a little bit goopy. Hang on. Okay. So I'm just kind of going to blend this. And if you remember those lines that we drew earlier with our pen, we're going to take brown and just the tiniest bit of brown paint. And we're going to add some brown to the lines. And then we're going to just slightly go around the outside with the brown. And you can kind of blend those little brown lines in. And now we're going to color in the middle of our seed. So I'm going to take my brown and just kind of paint the inside of my flower. I'm going to add a little bit of orange to that. And I'm just going to take this and pull it out a little bit. Once again, just to give it that little bit of depth. Okay, now for the leaves. Leaves are going to be pretty easy. We're just going to take our green and just very slowly, and try to do this in one stroke. We're going to go up, and that kind of creates a little ombre effect. And then we're going to do it again over here. And then the last one, we're just going to take these leaves and fill these leaves in. Let's add a little bit more green to this guy. All right, and there you have it. There is our sunflower.